It all began in December of 2017 when I started a journey that would set me on a new path. But this was one road that I had to go on alone. Hey, I'm Cecilia and I have a story to tell. I want to share with you guys my journey of bettering myself and specifically my physical health. So here is how I have lost over 70 pounds and counting, some advice for others who want to do similar things, and also a Q&A. So when I started my journey, I was 16 years old and I found myself weighing 260 pounds, which is crazy, especially saying it out loud, because when I look at photos, I can never really believe that I was ever at that point. For a long time, I was very insecure and very unhappy with my body and my appearance. I had tried over and over again and then failed to make a change that would really make a difference in my life, but eventually I got to a low point and I was just done. So I started a ketogenic diet, which is a low carb diet, and I'll discuss that in a bit more detail in a bit. But basically I had read up on it and I was like, it sounds good, and I thought to give something a chance, so I did this. And along with that, I started working out regularly, about 5 times a week, and so that combined had me losing the weight. The pounds started coming off. I was feeling good, I was feeling energized, and so eventually here I am over a year later and I've lost 70 pounds. So I thought I would share this experience by being brutally honest about the journey and answering some questions. So the first question is, did you follow a specific diet? And personally, I'm not a huge fan of the word diet because people hear it and they think that, oh, they're eating less, and that's not really the case. A lot of the times I feel like, for me personally, it definitely wasn't. I was simply eating better, eating cleaner, not less. In fact, I think some days I was definitely eating more than I had in the past. So I did for about the first year. I was on the ketogenic diet, as I mentioned before, and it is basically a high-fat, moderate-protein, low-carb diet. It definitely has some challenges, but it really did work for me. It helped me lose a lot of the weight in the beginning especially, and so I stuck with it. And there was a while that I thought I did want to do this diet long term, but I really just transitioned off of it a few months ago, and it was a hard transition because my body was so used to it, so used to what I was giving it and what I wasn't giving it, that it did really take some work. But now I'm just kind of at a point where it's not what I want. I don't think I want to follow that anymore. I'm working to just eat healthy in general without any certain specifications. So I've been asked if I do have junk food, and the answer is yes, I do. I didn't for the first year hardly ever cheat on my diet. I was pretty strict on it and I hardly ever splurged, but recently I have been treating myself, like when I'm out with friends or out with my family and I haven't eaten good for a while and working out, then I'm like, yeah, I deserve it, so I do treat myself occasionally. But I think personally that I need that, but I would challenge everyone to think of what works best for them. I think some people might do best if they have a cheat meal once a week, some people maybe once a month. It just depends on what you want, what your goals are, and what your willpower and temptations, how you control those. So for me personally though, I haven't always had the best relationship with food. There was a time in my past where I was starving myself for days at a time, and there's been times when I was overeating. So I've been on both spectrums. And now I just want to create that healthy relationship, and I want to not be scared of eating, not be scared that it'll make me fat or make me lose my progress up to this point, but instead just be comfortable with how I feed my body, how I fuel it, and the foods I give it. So for me, a healthy relationship with food does include a cheat on special occasions. The next question is, how do you find time to work out? And the truth is, I did not find time to work out, I made the time to work out, because I realized that that's what I had to do to better myself, to do what's good for me. So I made the hard choices, I made the sacrifices to make sure I had time in my busy schedule. And it wasn't easy, it was anything but, because it was a lot of early mornings and it was a lot of late nights. I would run on the treadmill, I'd run on the track, I would lift weights. I was really just trying to switch it up, so it never felt like a chore that I had to get done. I didn't want it to seem like my job was to work out. I wanted to always enjoy it. So my advice for someone who's maintaining a busy schedule is to realize that 30 minutes working out just like 3 times a week is better than nothing, and a simple walk after dinner is better than nothing. Do what you can with the time and resources you have, because that's really all any of us can do. How did you not give in to temptations to eat processed food and to be inactive? I'd say the beginning part of the journey for me was the hardest, where I did feel those temptations the most, but once I saw the results, I was like hooked. Like in the beginning, I saw the results on the scale, and then I felt it in the way my body felt and the energy I had. Then I saw it when I looked in the mirror, and finally I heard about it. People were telling me that I looked good. People were telling me that they noticed me, and that felt great. That really was motivation to keep going in my journey. And even more when I felt like I was just at a really low point, like I was stuck where there seemed to be no progress and I was just down and extra tempted, I would look back at pictures from before my journey, specifically when I was at my highest weight. I wasn't there for a long time, so I don't have too many pictures, but just looking at that and then seeing where I was today, or was whenever I was feeling low, would really put it into perspective for me, put it into where I can see that I have come far. And it would help me to push through and realize that I do have to still make these hard choices. So I think you have to find your reason for doing something and really lean on that reason to support you through all the hard times. So this next question is definitely one that I see on the internet a lot and online, social media. It's whether or not exercise or nutrition is more important when you're losing weight. And honestly, my answer is that I don't know. Who's to say one's more important than the other? I'm sure you could find solid arguments for both sides, but the way I see it is that they kind of work off each other. For example, I couldn't go do these hard workouts that get my heart racing and get me sweating if I wasn't fueling my body in a way that gave me energy and made me feel up for it. And so personally, they both benefited me equally, and I think that if you really want to see results, you have to do both, and you won't see them the same if you choose to do one instead of both. So I've been asked if I find myself being more productive since I lost weight, and the answer is 100% yes, definitely. I do feel more productive in kind of every aspect of my life, at school, and my personal life, and extracurriculars, at work, like just wherever it may be. I feel more productive, and that's because my body feels better. I feel like I have more energy. I feel more inspiration and motivation to do stuff. Like after I work out, I just feel like kind of invincible. Like I can do this, I can do that, and it really has come from being active and taking care of myself. So I think anyone who goes on this journey will definitely see a spike in their productivity and their motivation to accomplish tasks. So this next one is definitely more personal, definitely more intimate. The question is whether weight loss has affected my mental health. And it definitely has. I'd say my mental health has been affected just as much as my physical health. Quite honestly, I've been doing things that are good for my body, and then in turn I feel better about who I am and physically just feel better, and that has a good connection to your mental health as well. I am proud of myself for all I've accomplished and where I'm at in life and where I'm going, and that feels good. You know, I was really sad for a long time, and so I worked out of that. I pushed myself out of that, and now here I am. And I can genuinely say that I've never been happier. I've never been more comfortable about my physical appearance and my health. And not just comfortable, but happy. I'm happy with who I am, happy with the body I have, happy with the progress I've made and the progress I'm still making and the progress I'm yet to make. So I think that this really isn't discussed enough, how much your physical health really impacts your mental health. And I think anyone who goes on any kind of transformation, specifically a physical one, will definitely see a positive transition and positive impact on their emotional and mental health. So going along with that mental health aspect and how that relates to physical health, I was also asked if losing weight has changed how I handle my stress. And honestly, I do not know, because I don't really know if I handle my stress. I think it definitely has changed my perspective on my stresses, at least. It's made me change how I look at the things I stress about and really had me focus in on them. I think it's important to analyze what stresses you out and why it stresses you, and if stressing over that thing is really worth you missing out on having a good day. The next question is how losing weight has changed my daily routine. And I've touched on this a bit, I think, but basically I spend my time doing things that are good for me. I spend my time working out and reading and writing and doing things that make me happy, just like those things do, instead of being lazy and Netflixing and watching movies and taking naps. I kind of push those things aside to focus on things that make me feel good, that truly make me happy. And that includes spending a lot more time outside, which I love, and walking my dogs, which I love. And so these like seemingly little changes really add up. They really change your daily routine. And I think this journey is all about how little changes can add up to a big change. If you're trying to change your health, trying to change your life all at once, you're likely gonna fail. But if you make little changes and are like, oh, I'll change this and I'll change that and so on and so forth, you'll really grow into it and you'll be more successful. Has weight loss had an impact on the clothes you buy? And I'd say it definitely has. I feel way more excited to go shopping and to go buy stuff than I used to. I remember specifically that there was a time last year when I was prom dress shopping, and I was at a point where I lost about 40 pounds already, and so I was feeling good. But when I went to try on dresses, I could not find one that fit me the way it should and that I liked. And I remember being so heartbroken, having already lost all this weight and nothing was still working. Because it was prom and I just wanted to look beautiful and feel beautiful and have a good time. And I felt like over and over again the stores were telling me that I wasn't a girl that got to feel that way because nothing was working out. And so now that I have been losing weight, and the more weight I lose, the more that things do fit me, which is exciting. It's slowly but surely letting me show off more myself in my clothes, which is nice. And so I think what you wear can really have an impact on your health. Like when you lose weight, I think it's important to treat yourself to an outfit, a cute outfit that you really like or something, even if it's a little pricey, because you've worked hard for that body. Don't be afraid to show it off a bit. So now that I've lost all this weight, how do I plan on moving forward and to keep the progress? So right now I am off that ketogenic diet. I have been for a bit now, and I'm focusing on just eating healthy and working out. And for the nutrition portion, I'm focusing on eating good foods, eating healthy foods, clean foods, and not processed foods, not junk food and stuff like that. Just foods that are really good for me. And then on the exercise portion, I'm focusing on trying to work out 5 or 6 times a week, a workout that gets my heart rate up and gets me sweating and makes me feel good. So I'm just trying to balance all that right now. And it's a little scary because it is different than how I did things in the beginning and for the majority of this journey so far. But this is more suitable with what I want right now, which is just to focus on creating that healthy relationship with me and my body, both on the inside and the outside. The next question is, how has losing a lot of weight changed my goals in life? And so firstly, it definitely has changed my goals in life. I think that I love my new lifestyle, and so I definitely want to continue the progress that I'm making and the work that I'm doing, even beyond when I reach my goal weight and have lost all the weight that I want to. Like my whole life, I've always wanted to make people feel something because of something I create or something I do or something I say. So maybe I can do that in a different way than I always thought I would. I think this is my way to do that, is by sharing my experience, sharing how I did it in hopes that it'll help someone. So if this video makes at least one person feel something or think something or change their perspective on something, motivate them, even one person, I'd be happy, because that's just how I feel with my goals in life right now. This next one is a biggie. It is, how important is a support system in this journey? And the support system is so important. But the truth is that your support system has to start with you. Mine started with me. Because the truth is that you're going to be spending a lot of time alone, and it's going to be hours and hours, and you need to be able to be there for yourself. A health journey is a wonderful thing, but it can get ugly, and it probably will get ugly, and it will get lonely because it is hard and exhausting. So you have to be willing to work for yourself, to work for your future self. And then after that, that's when you have the people who build you up. I have the kindest people who have helped me be the best me I can be. They loved me at 260 pounds and at 200 pounds and so on. And I know they'll love me through all my falters. So let yourself lean on your friends and your family when you need to. Let them be there for you like they most likely want to be. But remember that your support system can't do the work for you. They can support and they can encourage, but they can't put in the work. That has to be you. And if you feel like you don't have a support system, like you want one, there are tons online and on social media. I would definitely recommend looking them up. A lot of people who have gone on a health journey start groups that can really be a support system for you if you feel you don't have one otherwise. The next question is, do people treat me differently now that I've lost weight? And the short answer to that, yes, they do treat me differently. But it's because I'm different. I'm happier and I'm trying to be more outgoing, and I treat myself differently even, so of course people will treat me differently. It's all in good ways for the most part, all the parts that matter anyway. There's always going to be people who are mean, and everyone's going to have to deal with that at some point in life, no matter what. So I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to learn to work with it. And I feel like I'm at a point now where if people do want to call me ugly or make fun of the way my arms or thighs jiggle or say I don't deserve any respect, that it's not okay for them to say that, but I'm confident enough in myself that I'm unbothered. I really don't care. I just think there's something about other people's happiness that can really make insecure and sad people act in a mean way. But you really have to push through that and focus on the good people, because sometimes in life when you make decisions that are best for you and for your personal growth, that means you have to move on from some people and some experiences, and that's not a bad thing. It's kind of the opposite. It's a good thing. So let go of the negative people and really focus and hold on to the positive ones, and you'll be better off for it. So now that I have gone so far on my journey, I've been asked if I have any regrets from it. And if I'm honest, my only regret would be that I didn't start it sooner. I'd been overweight for a while and I've been wanting to make a change long before I actually did. And I think I spent a long time being way sadder and way less happy than I should have been. I missed out on some parts of being a kid because I had too many doubts and I was too insecure, and that makes me sad. But I think everything happens for a reason, and I think all those things that happen also happen at a certain time for a reason, and so I'm working to trust that and to respect that. And I think at this point in my life, with how happy I am and how hopeful and excited I am for everything that's coming up, that I wouldn't want to go back and change the timeline at all and risk not being who I am right now. And the final question is, what would I say to someone who is about to start their own health journey? I'd say you are stronger than you can even imagine you are, and you can accomplish your goals. Take it one step at a time, and even if you stumble and fall, keep going. Because life is short, and if you don't do it now, chances are you never will. So take a deep breath and start today. Start right now.